Patreon member shout out. Sorry girl, but you missed out. Well, tough luck, that boy's mine now. We are more than just good friends. This is how the story ends. Too bad that you couldn't see the man that boy could be. There is more than meets the eye. Hey guys, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez, coming at you today with a Veve OMI update video. Guys, if you're new, welcome. For not, welcome back. I love you all. Everyone say hello, Dashi. Hello, Dashi. Hit the paper towels there. A buddy of mine sent me a thing that he found on Reddit, to say that he wrote on Reddit. This is something that is an open letter to gamers, video game companies, Wall Street bets, was very well received, deserved its own video. Prepare to see video game companies' revenues skyrocket in the next few years. Yes, this is a long-term play. If you're a day trader, then you should stop reading here or stop listening here. But the gaming industry has evolved a ton since the days of Pong, and companies have found more and more efficient ways of monetizing those products. We've seen our favorite games go from arcades to home consoles with cartridges and discs to downloadable games to freemium. Believe it or not, freemium games are giga money makers thanks to microtransactions. More on this later. To basically nice and predictable subscription-based revenue streams. Now, I know digital collectibles, not as cool and flashy as some other things, but shut your little 8 brains off for a second and bear with me here. I know a thing or two about how this works. I've been YOLO'd into a digital collectibles company since before digital collectibles, or NFTs, had become a buzzword. I've gone straight to the moon and came right back down to earth with the rest of you magnificent people. And the only reason none of you have seen any of my glorious gain/losses is because Wall Street Bets doesn't allow those posts there. When you hear digital collectibles or NFTs, you think this is a crap JPEG made by some college kid to help pay for his gender studies degree. Congratulations, you're a normie. Here's the truth. You've been buying NFTs and digital collectibles since your day your mom bought your Xbox Live subscription. Anytime you ever bought a Fortnite skin, a shark card on GTA, gems for Clash of Clans, you bought a digital collectible. People have been spending money on digital goods for years now, and companies know this. Companies love this. Why do you think freemium games are so prevalent? Fortnite, PUBG, COD, Warzone, Among Us, Pokemon Go. Best part is, they don't even have to pay to win because of microtransactions. Fortnite literally only sells pointless cosmetics, and that's the game's whole business model. He's right, that's a free game. And it works like a charm. How well does it work? Well, I'm going to show you. Licensed merchandise. Let's talk about Pokemon. Literally the largest IP in the world, topping the charts with over 110 billion generated since the creation of the brand. Now, where does that 110 billion come from? Well, jet aircraft live sales, about $3 million. Not a lot. Strategy guidebooks, 142 million. Impressive for strategy guidebooks, but still not a lot. Home entertainment, 830 million. Okay, all right, that's up there. Box office, 1.85 billion. Getting in the billions now. Video games, 27 billion, which is a lot. And licensed merchandise, which makes up 82.8 billion of that 110 billion we see there. So we're going to focus on the licensed merchandise, the 82 billion, and video games of 27 billion. Why do you think licensed merch generated so much more than video games? Well, licensed merch has two things going for it. Toys, cards, collectibles, clothing, any type of merch is generally sold at a premium compared to video games. Most fans would drop 20 bucks on a cool Pikachu shirt without batting an eye. This is the big one. Reoccurring sales is number 2. The people that buy merch very rarely, if ever, only buy one object. They usually have 12 statues, 2 or 3 folders full of trading cards, and many t-shirts and hats, etc. I like to call these people whales. Let's look at the video games now, because this is where it gets interesting. When you buy a video game, you only ever buy one, and that's it. Now, you might have bought many different Pokemon games. Each of those takes a lot of money to develop, by the way, and in comparison to printing Pikachu on a shirt. But unless your game breaks, you're not going to buy 2 cartridges of the exact same game, and that's where video games have fallen short up until recently. Pokemon has made a total of 122 video games that has generated a total of $27 billion over the years. I've played at least half of those, if not more. Now, out of all those games, there is one that stands out. That's right, it's Pokemon Go. Remember that game that you and your friends all downloaded and played for a few months until the game died? I didn't, because I was in Kuwait and it did not have the game there, and I'm still salty about it. But guess what? It didn't die. As a matter of fact, it's still going strong to this day. Pokemon Go has generated over $5 billion since its launch, and keep in mind this data is from 2021. So a year later, this is probably actually more. Pokemon Go alone represents over 18% of that $27 billion. So over $5 billion from Pokemon Go. This one little mobile game managed to surpass all 121 other Pokemon games so hecking much that it doesn't even make sense. Except it does make perfect sense. Microtransactions. I seem to be having trouble posting this here, so part two. Okay, part two, here we go. This is where we get to digital collectibles and NFTs. Why are microtransactions so unbelievably more profitable than old-fashioned game sales? If you pay attention, you'd know that I mentioned exactly why above. It's in the reoccurring purchases. Spend $1 here, $1 there, before you know it, you spend tens, if not hundreds of dollars on virtual cosmetics and power-ups. Sound familiar? Freemium games are so much more profitable because people spend money as if it were merchandise. It's never one single purchase either, but many reoccurring purchases. However, there is one slight problem, which is you can only charge so much for a virtual toy. And again, here's where we get to NFTs and digital collectibles. As I've said above, you've already spent money on virtual assets. The difference between a typical virtual good and a digital collectible or NFT virtual good is how it works. Let me paint you a picture. Let me spin you a yarn here. You're playing GTA 5 and you really want that Zentorno. And for those of you that don't know what that is, your childhood apparently sucked and I feel sorry for you. It's a car. I don't know what that is either. So you spend $10 on a shark card, which is like a ticket to redeem GTA dollars, and you buy your Zentorno. There's a limit to how much money you're going to spend on that virtual car that you'll never sell and that can be duplicated and gotten for free. In other words, you're not going to spend $100 on it. However, what if it literally couldn't be duplicated? What if you could resell it and get some, if not more money back than what you paid for it? What if you could export it from the game and store it elsewhere? That is true virtual merchandise. That's the only difference between a digital good and a digital collectible, or NFT, and I assure you with 100% certainty that all these video games, digital goods, will be NFTs in the near future because they have literally every incentive to do so. Think about all the effort GTA goes through to patch duplication glitches, making your virtual goods or NFTs negates any need for this. Time for some quick myth busting before we continue. Oh, well, you can screenshot an NFT. Yes, you can screenshot a dumb monkey picture, but you can't screenshot and drive a Zentorno. Oh, well, people will be able to create cheap Zentorno knockoffs and import them into the game. He says a bad word and says, every transaction history is stored on the blockchain. Everything. Do you think the developers would allow your crappy Zentorno ripoff anywhere near their game? No, they won't. And there's absolutely zero chance of you ever tricking them. They know with 100% certainty where the real Zentornos came from, where they currently are, how many of them there are, and how many there ever will be. Thus, your ripoff is worthless. Well, NFTs have no utility and are therefore worthless. Stupid monkey pictures are worthless, but a Zentorno in a game that people play and care about is not worthless. I mean, take a look at Brock McBlockchain, creating fiches, people developing emotional attachment to their NFTs. I digress, moving on. And we know this because people spend money on them already with zero chance of seeing that money again. There is value in virtual goods, and that is a fact. Well, if they made the Zentorno and other cars into NFTs, they would just be used as speculative investments. This, again, is wrong. Stop associating NFTs with JPEG Moonboy scams. The cars will be the same as before. Their value might fluctuate, but nothing too crazy. There probably will be some super expensive, super rare cars on the secondary market, but it isn't really that bad of a thing. Anyone who's played GTA knows that people love to show off their rare modded car collection in their garage. Having actual real rarity and value only adds to that experience. Besides, the developers will never let that get in the way of the gaming experience. There will always be other, more accessible, cheaper, just as good cards. So back to what we were saying. So we already discovered how profitable microtransaction business models are thanks to their recurring sales, just like merchandise. But we also covered where the video game still falls short, as you can only charge so much for a virtual toy. Well, NFTs will essentially allow for video game companies to charge real merchandise prices for their virtual goods, and people will pay for it. So recap. Remember Pokemon, the licensed merchandise revenue, 82.8 billion, video game revenue of 27.1 billion. 18% of which came from a single freemium game with little $1 to $10 microtransactions, outperforming all other 121 video games by a landslide. Just imagine how much Pokemon Go would have made if, instead of charging $1 to $5 microtransactions, they charged real-world merchandise prices of $10 to $500. Yeah, their gaming division will match and surpass their merch division, which represents growth of 300% at the very least, and so will every other IP. And where does every other IP seem to want to go? Into Veve. And what is the token that underpins that app? The OMI token. Now, if I invite you to look at other IPs and compare their merch revenue and gaming revenue, the difference between the two is basically guaranteed growth. Add that to the ease of instantaneous exchange of virtual merch versus the headaches and limitations of exchanging real-world merch, very appealing. Oh, and did I mention that the gaming industry boasts a clientele of nearly 3 billion people? So that right there is why NFTs will cause the gaming industry to absolutely heckin' boom. As for a stock pick, I won't be talking much, but yeah, TLDR, video games are all about to be about these NFTs. Same way Meghan Trainor's all about that base. Video game companies will be looking to the biggest and best NFT companies, NFT platforms, such as Veve. Yeah, they'll have Coinbase NFT, they'll have maybe GameStop NFT, they'll have OpenSea, all these marketplaces. But Veve, gotta be number one. And that OMI token is gonna go to the heckin' moon. All of these transactions, every single time it happens, burning OMI, burning OMI, burning OMI. And after we get that OMI to NFT, it'll start burning from the circulating supply. This is the most amazing bullish thing that I have felt since yesterday when Reese said that he's more bullish on the OMI token than ever before. Anyway, guys, please comment, like, and subscribe. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. Everyone say bye-bye to Dashi. Bye-bye, Dashi. And everyone, please check out @HeyDavidDon and @KingMavsForever over on the Twitter. Stand Up Chart and King Mavs over on the Veve app. Kobe Collects and OMI Player 1 over on the YouTube. Redax.eth main name. Kyle Willson, Wendy Stibalis, Puddin' Cheeks, Veve Las Vegas, Taps Trades, Mars Davis, Legacy of Bermuda, Sody Pop Media, Veve Darklink, and Veve Vibes, all on the YouTube. And then you got @WetWizardVeve and Gary O @1234CA3, all on Twitter. I love you all. Goodbye, guys. Bye. Meow, 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 meow.